All right, today we're going to dive into a topic that might just surprise you. Why Romania is becoming a serious contender for university studies. Using some great insights from the Gamma Hara Educational Consultancy, we're going to break down exactly why this Eastern European country is turning into a go-to spot for students from outside the EU. So let's just start with a big question, shall we? Is it actually possible to get a world-class education, the kind that opens doors all over the globe, without that eye-watering price tag we see in a lot of Western countries? Well, if that's a question you've been asking, Romania might just have the answer. For most people, Romania probably isn't the first country that springs to mind when they think about studying abroad, but it's really proving to be this compelling, culturally rich, and academically solid option that's pulling in more and more international students every single year. And hey, this isn't just a guess. The data shows that Romania is already a popular hub for students who are looking for that perfect mix of a quality education and a real cultural experience. The country has a huge variety of programs, everything from medicine to business, and a ton of them are taught in English, French, or even German. Okay, first things first, let's talk about one of the biggest, if not the biggest factor for any student, the cost. Because this is where Romania really starts to stand out from the crowd. The difference here is, well, it's massive. When you compare it to Western Europe or North America, the tuition fees in Romania are just so much lower. But the savings don't stop there. The day-to-day cost of living is also way less, which, as you know, makes a huge difference when you're on a student budget. And that lower cost of living translates directly into your everyday life. We're talking about finding affordable housing, not having a heart attack at the grocery store, and being able to use public transport without breaking the bank. All these little things add up and let your budget stretch so much further, which means way less financial stress. And get this, on top of those already low costs, there's even more help out there. The Romanian government and the universities themselves offer a bunch of scholarships specifically designed for non-EU students. So an already affordable option becomes even more accessible. Okay, so it's affordable. We've got that covered. But is the education any good? That's the other half of the equation, right? And this is where that whole value proposition really clicks into place. And here's the most important part, that affordability does not come at the expense of quality. Not at all. Romania is actually home to a number of really reputable universities, many with a long history of academic excellence. And we're not just speaking in vague terms here. The source points to some really established schools, like the University of Bucharest and Babis Bulia University. They're especially well known for their fantastic programs in high-demand fields like medicine, engineering, and tech. So, what about the language barrier? That's a huge question for a lot of people. Well, it's probably less of an issue than you think. You don't need to be fluent in Romanian because a lot of the universities offer a whole range of degrees taught completely in English, French, or German. That makes them super accessible. So you can start to see this clear path taking shape, right? You can earn your degree in English, get involved in some of the cool, innovative research that the universities are known for, and then you use that degree to launch your career, not just in Romania, but anywhere in Europe. So what happens after you toss that graduation cap in the air? Well, a degree from a Romanian university has real weight across the continent. Because Romania is part of something called the Bologna process, your qualifications are standardized and recognized all over Europe. That means you could seamlessly go for a master's in Berlin or apply for a job in Paris. It just works. But look, university isn't just about what happens in the lecture hall, is it? What about the experience of actually living in Romania? Let's take a look at that. The whole thing goes so much deeper than just academics. When you study in Romania, you're immersing yourself in a really unique culture that has this incredibly deep and fascinating history. So what does that student life actually look like? Well, it means your weekends could be spent exploring literal medieval castles and using the country's amazing location as a gateway to travel all over the rest of Europe. And, really importantly, you're doing all of this in a place that's known for being safe and welcoming, with a genuinely hospitable culture. And here's the best part. You're not just dropped in and expected to figure everything out on your own. The universities have dedicated support offices designed specifically to help international students with everything from finding a place to live to just getting used to daily life. It makes that whole transition so much smoother. So, let's pull all this together. We've looked at the money, the academics, the lifestyle. What's the big picture here? What's the core argument for choosing Romania? It really boils down to three main pillars. First, you've got affordability. It gives you this high-value education without the mountain of debt. Second, academics. You get a quality EU-recognized degree that can be your ticket to a career anywhere in Europe. And finally, there's the adventure, a rich cultural experience in a safe, beautiful country. And that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. In a world where so many people follow the same well-worn path for their education, maybe, just maybe, the most rewarding experiences, academically, financially, and personally, are waiting for us in the places we least expect.